welcome back to the Bears Baseball Network. We had a fantastic month of baseball here in the month of May. Rained a lot, so we didn't get quite as many games as we had hoped, but we still have our May awards show here today. And I'll tell you what, a lot of different guys getting back in there for a second month in a row in some awards. Some guys who didn't have a great April came back with a vengeance here in May. So we got a lot to talk about. And let's go ahead and get things started here with the May All-Stars. And we're looking at a group of guys here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of our 20 All-Stars were back-to-back All-Stars from April and May. So let's go ahead and start with this group of 12. And Bernie, I want you to tell me which of these guys surprised you the most that they are back-to-back All-Stars here. We've got Lucas Kloster, Matthew Hume, Owen Haynes from 11U, Rudy Montenegro Langley, Harrison Blaybaum, Owen Lewis, and Cale Taylor from 12U, ZZ Garcia and Cade Nimmin from 13U, Evan Lancaster, Mason Geddes, and Trevor Anderson, all two-time All-Stars. Which of those guys, Bernie, are you maybe the most surprised of as a back-to-back All-Star here to start the 2024 season?
Yeah, I think those guys are all, relatively known superstars in the Bears. But if I have to go with one imp, it'd probably be Trevor Anderson from 14U. A guy that we knew going into this year would have big expectations. I think some of us were unsure whether he would fulfill those all the way. He's had a monster season so far. His stats have been terrific thus far. And, yeah, he's been one of the top players on that team.
Yeah, and he's been good on all three sides of the ball. Hitting, pitching, and defense. He's been very, very solid. KJ, these other 8 guys were not All-Stars in April, came back, were All-Stars in May. And I want you to tell me which of these guys are you most surprised wasn't an All-Star in April and got right here in May. We've got Whedon Hainline and Landon Hines from 11U, Rowan Damschroeder from 12U, Garrett Knight, Judd Levy, and Cam Bernstein from 13U, and then Lucas Wilburn and Joey Burgess from 14U. Obviously, Lucas Wilburn didn't play in the month of April. He was with his high school team, so got to be an All-Star here in May. Besides Wilburn, KJ, who do you think were you the most surprised wasn't an All-Star in April and got back here in May?
I talk about Joey Burgess, a guy obviously I've been really high on all season. And I think the first couple weekends he was hitting the ball hard, not necessarily in the air, not for a lot of extra base hit power, and I think he's starting to get into that in May. So, I think this is where his big season starts.
Barney, our all-rookie team, we had 3 guys who were not on the all-rookie team in April and make it here in May. That is Jack Martin Bryan, Parker Wilson, and Evan Winehouse. These 3 guys, Bernie, I think all were highly regarded prospects. Obviously, Jack Bryan joined a little bit later, but all 3 of these guys I think are highly regarded. Which of these 3 do you see having the biggest season going forward? I think all 3 of these guys started a little slow, have caught fire in May. Which of these 3 do you think is going to have the biggest season going forward between Jack Bryan, Parker Wilson, and Evan Winehouse?
Yeah, I think Parker Wilson's going to have a lot of chances being with the second team with Bell probably most of the season. I think he's going to continue to put up some big numbers. But if I'm picking out of the 3 players, I'm going with Jack Bryan. This is a guy who's came to the Bears is already a very good player. He's already one of the better defenders in the Bears. We just got to see his hitting. And I think that we've seen a lot of these 13 Floyd guys come around with the bat pretty quickly, and I think that Jack's going to be no exception here.
We had 7 guys, KJ, who were all rookies in April and in May. That is Owen Haynes, Carson Griffith, Hamilton Case, Rudy Montenegro Langley, Hunter Finley, Owen Wybrecht, and Josh Kinsey. I think Owen Haynes and Rudy Montenegro Langley is kind of the 1-2 for the Rookie of the Year race right now. So besides those 2, KJ, who are you maybe the most impressed with of this rookie class? All these guys back-to-back good months to be on the all-rookie team. Besides Rudy and Owen, who are you most impressed with here?
Yeah, I'd say, Hamilton Case, I think, is a superstar in the making. This guy already throws the ball so hard. He's good. He can play multiple positions. He can catch. He can pitch. And he's great with the bat. He can kind of do it all. And I think, as this guy gets older, he's going to only get more and more talked about. But this guy's a future superstar.
Yeah, a fantastic month for all of these guys. Hamilton Case is one of my favorite players, I would say, from that 11U age and continues to just impress as the season's going on. Let's move into our May MVP, and I'll tell you what, we, in the monthly awards, we give a top 3 at each award, and Bernie, all 3 of the top 3 of the MVP in April, it's different in May. All 3 of them are different, so it just shows you how much talent we got right now on the U teams. Let's go ahead and start with 3rd place here, and that's Lucas Kloster, who was, in my opinion, easily the top hitter on this 11U Floyd team in the month of May. Obviously, I think a shorter month favors Lucas Kloster because he's a guy who, when he gets hot, he's unbelievable, untouchable. But, KJ, tell me about Lucas Kloster here, man. A monster month for this guy. Puts up an over 1,500 OPS and was the top player for 11U Floyd.
Yeah, it's another guy we were pretty high on all offseason long. A guy who's really stepped up as a superstar, I think, for a long team that or a long time that team was kind of a bunch of solid players but no superstar, and I think Luke is really stepping up as that next superstar.
Bernie, I don't know if we've had a rookie in the MVP conversation since Andrew Willeret as prevalent as Rudy Montenegro Langley was this month. He comes second in the MVP conversation. And, we talked about this a little bit before, Bernie. It's been a long time since a guy has out-hit Harrison Blaybaum on the same team. And Rudy Montenegro Langley able to do that this month. He had one of the best OPSs in the Bears. I believe Rudy was tied for the lead in hits in the Bears this month as well. A monster month for the rookie Rudy Montenegro Langley. How good is this guy, Bernie, and do you see him potentially being an MVP later down the road?
Oh, I mean, easily going to be MVP down the road at some point here. This is his first summer with the Bears. Joined last fall. He's already this good. This kid's work ethic is, I think, close to unmatched. I think he's only going to get better and better from here. This guy's a superstar hitter, and I think what's slept on here a little bit, this guy is a game changer behind the play as well defensively at catcher.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, another catcher here is the winner of the May MVP, and that's going to be Joey Burgess. Led the Bears in hits in the month of May. Obviously, he was the OPS leader on a team that only lost one game in 14U Floyd in the month of May. Just a monster. And we've said before, the MVP by default is the best player on the best team, and Joey Burgess was the best hitter on 14U Floyd this month. A monster month, KJ, after, again, he was a solid player in April, but he wasn't an all-star. He was good, but he wasn't great. And in May, it felt like he came back with an absolute vengeance and looked like the best hitter in the Bears so far this month. KJ, I know you were predicting this guy's an MVP from the preseason. Felt like you got what you expected this month of May. What do you think of this MVP month for Joey Burgess?
Yeah, I think, finally started clicking for him, and he's starting to hit the ball hard in the air. I think he's been hitting the ball hard all season long. Now it's starting to translate into more extra base hits, and I think it was a great start for Joey. And as competition gets harder, I think Joey's only going to get better.
Bernie, I'm going to read you a pitching line. I want you to tell me what you think of it. Is this a Cy Young caliber pitching line, Bernie? How about a sub 1.7 ERA? How about 17 strikeouts to 3 walks in the month of May and 11 innings pitched from this guy? Does that sound like a Cy Young Award winner?
Sounds like he's definitely in the race.
That is a Cy Young caliber month, and that was only good enough for third place, Bernie. That's Mason Getty's numbers from this month. He was absolutely dominant. It's one of those things where he won the Cy Young in April, he comes third place in May, and his stats were about the same. I mean, that's how good the month of May was for pitching in the Bears. Bernie, I feel like Mason Getty is a guy you've been on all season long. What have you seen from this guy that's really elevated him from last year to this year, turning him from a good pitcher on a very good team, key part of the rotation, to a Cy Young candidate every single month?
Yeah, I think last fall when he kind of first joined that Floyd rotation, he was a guy who probably threw in the low 60s, threw strikes, didn't have a ton of awesome pitches to go to. He's really transformed himself over the course of the winter, and this year he's coming out throwing over 7, or I think his record's over 70 now?
72, Bernie.
He's over 70 miles an hour, has 400 pitches he can throw, all for strikes. This kid's absolutely dominant. This kid could throw you a 3-1 curveball, right? That's how good his off-speed stuff is. When you keep hitters off balance like that with throwing as hard as Mason does, you're going to be in a Cy Young conversation every month.
Mason Getty was the Cy Young Award winner in April. A guy who was not in the top 3 in the month of April was Owen Lewis, Bernie. I mentioned Mason Getty's stats. Owen Lewis, a 1.6 ERA, I believe 20 strikeouts to 2 walks in the month of May. So just a little bit better than Mason, but again, still not good enough for the Cy Young. That's how good our leader was. Bernie, Owen Lewis, we've talked about before, an absolute game changer when he's on the mound. How good of a month was it for him? What did you think of Owen Lewis's second place here in the Cy Young?
Yeah, when you're playing 12U, I think the biggest thing is you're not going to walk anybody. That's the main goal, to keep your earned runs down. And Owen walks literally nobody. He's going to pound the zone. He's going to go up there and give you 4 or 5 innings every time he pitches. I think I'd put his curveball among the top in the Bears, at least a 12U. For his age, his curveball is one of the best in the Bears.
The Cy Young Award winner. Obviously, if these two guys are not winning the Cy Young, the guy who won the Cy Young has got to be pretty crazy stats, and that's going to be Caden Inman, who I believe was third place in the month of April in the Cy Young Award. He wins it this month with a 0 ERA, 22 strikeouts to 3 walks. He was absolutely dominant, KJ, and this is a guy who, when he takes the mound, you know your team's probably going to win the game. I mean, it's rare that Caden Inman pitches and we don't win. This guy's an absolute game changer, KJ. What do you think of his Cy Young month?
I feel like I'm always talking about Caden on here because he's been so good all season long. But, he just I think he throws 4 pitches and they all go for strikes. And he throws hard. I think that's the thing. When Caden was younger, he was a guy who could always pump strikes and he was really effective when we were young. And as we've gotten older, he's throwing hard now, and he's got a great curveball, and he's just dominant. And like you said, I never care about who we're playing when Caden pitches because I know we have a really good chance to win.
Looking at the Rookie of the Month for the month of May, I told you it's a two-horse battle at the top. Owen Haynes was the Rookie of the Month in April. Rudy Montenegro Langley takes it in May. These two are going back and forth. We've already kind of talked about Rudy. In third place for the Rookie of the Month is Hamilton Case. We've already talked about Hamilton, a great month from him. I want to talk about the guy, Bernie, who won in April, who came second in May, and Owen Haynes. This is a guy who it feels like is at least theoretically kind of the heart of this 11U team. He doesn't quite have that upside of dominant like Lucas Closer, and maybe he doesn't quite have the floor as some of the other guys on this team, but it feels like the all-around game. Owen Haynes is such a top player. Do you see him, competing with Rudy all season long in the Rookie of the Month, and do you see Owen Haynes as a future MVP candidate?
Yeah, this guy definitely could be. He's going to bat, probably lead off this Levy Floyd team every single game the rest of the way here, the rest of the year. So he's going to have his chances. I think that this guy never strikes out. He's going to put the ball in play every single at bat, which is good at 11U, but as you get in the future, you need to see him develop some power, right? Swinging hard, getting in the gym, doing that kind of stuff. If he does that, this kid's very naturally talented. He could definitely win MVP at some point.
Yeah, a fantastic month for Owen Haynes, and this battle, I hope, continues to rage on between Rudy and Owen for that Rookie of the Year award in the summer. Moving on to the Platinum Glove, this goes to the best defender in the Bears, and we've said before, the first place you look for the Platinum Glove is shortstop, and Cale Taylor, an errorless month at the position of shortstop. Listen, Bernie, if you have an errorless month at the most important position on the field, you're probably going to be the Platinum Glove Award winner. Cale Taylor back-to-back in that award. But I want to talk about the guy in second place, Aaron Noll, who, again, a fantastic month in the field for him. In my opinion, by far the most valuable outfielder, gets more outs than any other outfielder in the youth right now. Bernie, how good is Aaron Noll out there in the outfield?
Yeah, if you're making one comparison to him in the Bears, the guys I've played with or guys I've seen in the Bears, I think his only comparison is Mac out there. Mac's probably slightly better as of now, but Aaron's still got a long way to go to get better. He could definitely be better than Mac at some point, but he's that type of game changer out there.
Yeah, and one way that I think he's a very good comparison to Mac is that arm. I mean, Mac's got this arm where if you're not going to run on him, but if you do, he's going to throw you out. It feels like that's where Aaron is right now, where he keeps getting guys thrown out on the bases, and they just stop running on him completely. I did want to talk about the third place here in the Platinum Glove, KJ, and it's Hamilton Case. And this is a guy, again, we've talked about his bat. He's been working on his pitching. We've talked about kind of his pedigree. He was an impact defender this month, played all around the infield, and at least my opinion and Mac's opinion, was the most valuable fielder for this team all month. Does that surprise you, KJ, knowing the type of hitter he is, the type of kid he is, or did you see this coming from Hamilton Case, third place in the Platinum Glove?
Yeah, I think he's always been a really good, slick infielder. I know he catches, he could play some outfield. I mean, we talk about this guy, he can kind of do everything. I think right when he walked in the door, you knew this guy was going to be, a shortstop kind of player, and he makes every play. But I think the thing that makes him stand out, especially at the age, is his arm. He's got a rocket arm. He's got an arm that definitely stands out. Even with him playing up a little bit, his arm still stands out. So I think that's kind of what separates him. Much like, ZZ Garcia, he's a really good fielder, but the arm kind of separates him. Where they can bobble some balls sometimes, but the arm makes up for it. In Hamilton, he's got that same trait.
It was a fantastic month of May, although a little bit shorter than we would like, but some great baseball was played. I cannot be more excited for, obviously, the high school guys coming back, and we've got award races that are going to go down to the wire here as the last 6-7 weeks of the summer wind down. But that's going to do for this episode of the Bears Baseball Network, and we'll talk to you all next week.